somebody wrote in and said, I'm using Google AdWords and I'm getting clicks, but my results aren't what I want. How can I improve it so that I get to the right people?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of ways you can answer this question. I mean, there's a lot of different settings and things within AdWords that could be causing that. And without looking at that particular campaign, it's almost impossible for me to say. One of the things I would say to pay attention to, and a lot of people don't think about, is keywords and also negative keywords. When you do it, when you list keywords in AdWords, there's 3 different varieties of keywords. There's exact match, there's broad match, and there's phrase match. And to try to make it easy, obviously exact match makes sense. Basically, somebody has to type something into the Google search bar exactly as you listed it for you to show up for that search result. That makes sense. Broad match means if you've put in a keyword and or keywords, Google's going to say, we may show your ad to anything that's kind of slightly affiliated to that. It's a pretty broad term. So if you put in something, they're going to look at anything that might be affiliated and or around that. And some of those may be hits. Some of those might be things exactly what you're looking for as far as people's searches. And some of them may be searches that you don't want to come up for at all. The third of those is called phrase match. And phrase match, think about that as kind of halfway between broad match and exact match, where phrase match is going to take the exact thing that you typed in, but it's also going to look at parallel type meanings and things like that to sort of try to expand that. Think about phrase match as exact match with a little bit of like gray area where they're trying to sort of, in addition to it being exact, they're going to look at some meanings of the words and things like that and try to maybe bring a little bit more in. So you have broad match, which is the widest net, if you will. You're throwing it out there. You're catching as many things as you can. So you can end up getting a lot of clicks and a lot of impressions, but maybe not a lot of value out of that. I apologize. My texts are going crazy if you keep hearing this dinging. Exact match is going to be the narrowest net. I mean, the only people that are going to see that are the people that have exactly typed in what you have as a keyword. Phrase match is in between those. Phrase match is a really good option to go for because it gives you a decent sized net without getting too broad. I'm going to touch on 2 other things really quick. Within keywords, you will see something that's called search terms. And you can look back at the last week, the last month, or whatever, and see what terms that people are typing in that your ads are showing for or that they're clicking on your ads. You may see as you scan that list a lot of things that you don't want to show up for. A good example I'll just throw out there is like window tinting. Just the general term tinting a lot of times refers to women tint their eyebrows and their eyelashes and things like that. So you might start coming up for a lot of searches. You're trying to sell somebody window tinting, and the people that are seeing your ads are looking for eyebrow tinting. So if you see things that are coming up in your search terms that you don't want to show up for, you can select those and you can add them as a negative keyword. You could also go in and add negative keywords manually. So that example I just said, if you're a window tinter or tinting, you do tinting and that's part of what you have in your keywords, you may want to proactively go into your negative keywords and add eyebrow. Let's say that you're trying to sell window tinting, not trying to train people, and you're not trying to sell tools. You may also add in things like training, DIY, tools, things like that to say somebody might be searching for window tinting tools, but you're trying to sell window tinting projects to the end user. So you don't want to come up for a window tinting tool search because that window tinting tool search is not a relevant search. Obviously, the eyebrow tinting and things like that aren't relevant. Also, if somebody's searching for window tinting training, if you're a business that does window tinting, you're not trying to potentially reach somebody that's looking for window tinting training. DIY, do it yourself. You also probably don't want to come for that search because those people are looking for tips and tricks, whatever, for doing it yourself. So there's a lot of reasons why running an AdWords campaign might be yielding impressions, yielding clicks, but not yielding results. keywords are one of them. Man, we could do a couple of these episodes just on AdWords alone, but those are one of the things I would search for, look at as far as your ad campaign is only going to be as good as your keyword strategy. And if your keyword strategy is bad, the best ads, the best, all the other things you can do are only going to be as effective as the audience you decide to put it in front of. So keyword strategy is critical. And it's one of the main ways that it's one of the main things I would look at if I were starting to look at it, like analyze somebody's campaign. What's their keyword strategy? And are they putting in the appropriate safeguards with regard to negative keywords and things like that? So I know we went a little bit long, but again, it's a complicated topic.
Yeah, and I think at least I just wanted to add too, I think with a lot of those keyword searches, you can do them together. So you can do specific, broad, and all of those. It doesn't have to be just one specific one that you're kind of kind of be a mix of all of those, so you can kind of figure out. It goes along with the A/B testing as well, where you try to see what works, and at least Google AdWords kind of gives you a nice format to kind of see what was the top performing ones, whether it was which specific keyword and what type kind of worked best for this month or for this time frame that you're running.
And you're going to be able to see what's getting the impressions and what's getting the clicks. So you may find that, you may have a keyword that's getting you a lot of impressions and a lot of clicks, and it's not even a relevant keyword. So, you're going to accomplish two things. One, you're going to weed out results that you're going to save budget to put it towards the good results by eliminating the results you're getting for non-relevant searches. So not only aren't you getting the results, you're actually utilizing part of your budget for searches that aren't even relevant to you. So you're sort of losing on both ends there. So I think that, again, that's why I always say to people, AdWords is not a set it and forget it type of thing either. It's kind of like a garden. Like, there's a little bit of work up front to plant the garden. There, it's front loaded with regard to effort to build the AdWords campaign or to plant a garden, but then you're not done. Once you plant the garden, that's not the end of it. You have to water the garden, you have to weed the garden, you have to all those different things. I know you're into gardening, Ronnie, so I'm kind of talking your language, but if you just said, hey, I'm going to plant the garden and then I'm just going to set it and forget it, you're probably not going to have great results. I mean, it's and AdWords is very similar to that. I mean, it takes an ongoing effort, an ongoing tweaking, an ongoing weeding of the garden, watering of the parts that are doing well and weeding of the parts that you don't want to really get you the end result. And it's really a never-ending thing. You're never really done with AdWords. AdWords is an ongoing thing.
Completely agree. And good analogy.